Hello, YouTube. Um, my name is Sam. I've been making some YouTube videos for a little while now about a bunch of various things, but the reason I really wanted to come on YouTube was to do J-vlogging in the classical sense. So I've made some videos about the temples I've been to and things like that, but from now I think I'm going to do J-vlogging more in the style of the people that I've been watching, like Give Me a Break Man, Busan Kevin, um, even guys like Tokyo Sam or people like that. And so hopefully I can kind of get into that blogosphere and start making some cool videos for you guys. So the first thing I want to talk about in my first video is the thing that was the biggest surprise for me when I finally came to Japan, and that is the difference between Japanese people in Japan and Japanese people abroad, because there is a big difference, and it's not something I considered really before I came here. So the three things I identified as being the most significant difference were: Japanese people abroad are far more likely to be interested in learning your culture. Number two, Japanese people abroad are far more likely to believe you when you tell them about your culture. And three, Japanese people abroad are far more likely to already be acclimated to your culture. So let's tackle the first one first. Japanese people abroad are far more likely to be interested in learning your culture. Well, obviously. I mean, if they're going abroad, they obviously have some interest in other countries and they want to learn possibly the language, usually English, in my case at least. Although I've met Japanese people that are interested in all different kinds of languages: Spanish, uh, German, French. I've actually met a bunch of Japanese people that have been to India, although I don't know if language was part of that for them. So, um, in my experience, Japanese people are really interested in learning new cultures. But of course, my experience is almost 100% with Japanese people that are already abroad. Or even in Japan, my experience is mostly with Japanese people that are interested in learning English or interested in studying abroad or have already studied abroad. So they're more exposed and they're more predisposed to be interested in learning new cultures. The thing that you will find in Japan is people that have absolutely no interest in learning English whatsoever. And typically that'll be with the slightly older people, people that have careers that have no relation to English or foreign cultures or foreign languages, people that didn't really care for English class in high school and consider it more or less a nuisance to have to deal with people that can't speak their language properly. And I mean, that's fair enough. Back home where I come from, there's lots of people that aren't interested in learning Japanese, aren't interested in dealing with the cultural differences that come with speaking to people from different countries. So yeah, that was kind of a shock for me. Excuse me if my voice sounds a little strange, by the way. I'm a little stuffed up, and yeah, I promise I won't be like this in all my videos. Number two, Japanese people abroad are far more likely to believe you when you tell them about your culture. Yeah, I feel like people just don't believe me here. When I tell them, "Oh yeah, back home it's okay, we can just go out and hang out on the beach and play guitar or whatever." That's kind of a bad example, but oh, I mean, even things that are more strict in my country than they are in Japan. For example, drinking in public. Uh, yeah, you can't drink in public in Canada. Really? Really, you really can't drink in public? Yeah, I mean, you kind of can, but you're not supposed to. The thing is, anytime you get into a situation like that with a Japanese person, if you're in Japan, you're arguing from the position of a minority. You may have one other person from your country around with you, two, three maybe, but you're in their country, so you're kind of dealing with arguing a tough point. Whereas, in comparison, if they're in your country, all they have to do is look around, and they can see what your culture is. They can see that people hug their friends, guys hug each other, Guys hug friends that are girls that aren't their girlfriends. That's a tough one for Japanese people, I think. Um, so that's an interesting thing. And you'll if you ever come to Japan, or if you've already been to Japan, you've probably noticed something like that. Maybe if you have experience with that, you can leave something in the comments below, because I think there's a lot of funny little instances where that comes to be true, where I wouldn't necessarily say they don't believe you, but it's a lot easier for them to believe you when they can see it with their own eyes. Number three, Japanese people abroad are far more likely to already be acclimated to your culture. Big one, most important one in my opinion. And it's something I think I took for granted because everybody knows the typical stereotypes of Japanese culture, like being excessively polite or being excessively indirect. And obviously, I've had experiences with that back home, and it was never a big problem. And it's not a problem here now that I'm in Japan, but it's definitely uh, something that is more persistent here in Japan. Anything that you've heard as a stereotype of Japanese people, if it is one that's actually true, is likely to be more ingrained in the people's way of thinking over here. Whereas if they go to a country abroad, every day that they spend in that country, whether they know it or not, is slowly changing their culture. That's why when Japanese people finally go back to Japan, they experience a reverse culture shock. It's something that a lot of people who travel abroad experience because they don't realize how much their culture is changing while they're abroad. And when they come back home, they're like, ugh, why do the people in my country do things like this? You know? I'm already not looking forward to going back to Vancouver and hearing people like talking loud on the bus and being stupid, and yeah. There's a lot more stupidity in my country, I think. Like public displays of stupidity. But that's okay, because that's my home. Uh, so yeah, basically, those are the things that I noticed, and I guess I don't want to make this video too long, but if anybody can comment on those things that I've mentioned, or maybe add to my list of 3 things, that would be really cool. And also, anybody that's even remotely interested in Japan or Japanese culture or any of the other things that I have going on in my vlog, please subscribe, because I need everything. Subscriptions, I need subscribers, I need comments, I need likes, I need those thumbs up. So, come on, guys. Please. That's it for today, and hopefully you guys come back and see some more another time. Take care.